All right, gentlemen, good evening. Let's take a look at what we had at practice today. So these are what I got on film. Sorry if I missed you. I'm running around a bit, but we'll break this down here. So I think this is Garrett, but he's coming through, and we can already see he's stepping out in front of the center of mass. So his foot strike is out in front, so that causes a deceleration phase, and his foot really doesn't hit the ground all the way. And you can see from here, he's got a pelvis that's kind of tilted back because at mid-stance right there, he is late in the gait. This knee should be out in front, and ideally this leg needs to be a lot straighter. So Garrett is really pushing the run because as he goes by, he extends out back. And when the foot comes off the ground, you can kind of see how the pelvis tilts here, which means his knee can't come up quite as high again, and he strikes out in front. You can see the big crash out in front. That's why he's slowing down. A lot of times when people hit the weight room too hard and the technique is not with the muscle, you're going to start to crash again and actually slow down, even though you think you're getting stronger. And we can see it again that he comes by and he gets a big push out back here. Because ideally, this knee is underneath this glute, but you can see it's back too far, which means his pelvis is going to drop. And that's what we see here and why he doesn't get a very good knee lift. And then because the knee lift isn't very good, that foot crashes out in front. Here's Anthony from the side as he's cruising down the track here. You can see he's got a very different gait than the previous one where he's got more knee lift coming up. The pelvis is more neutral. Foot strike is more underneath, but still that knee is bent way too much coming underneath, which means he's just going to push and he's going to get that big pelvic tilt, which we can see the belt coming down here, which means this foot's going to hit early and that knee doesn't come up as high as that we want it to. I mean, he's close, but we've got to get that leg straight, and that's going to be a hamstring issue as he comes through. You can see that the leg isn't really straight and it tries to extend too much. We never want to see that pure leg go straight. There should always be a bend in the knee when he comes through. And Boogie's on through. Decent time. And here's Colin, who was the man of the day. For a high jumper, he sprints pretty well. But again, foot's going to be out in front. He's kind of squatted down a little bit. We need him to be a little bit taller. He gets a good push out back. Knee is more underneath the glute with a good knee lift. But again, it's going to be a hamstring strength issue because that leg isn't sweeping down the way we would like it to. And he loads up and he becomes a flipper here and kicks out back. And that's way too long there, coming out back. And I mean, if we compare it to the other side, you can see this one doesn't come out back as far. That's his jump side, and that's way too far. You can see the pelvis tilt back. It's not going to be as much, it could be a better knee lift or more explosive if he's straighter because he's not really bouncing off the track, he's kind of pulling off the track. So Cullen is a lot of hamstring strength away from being really fast. Here's Jimmy. I think Jimmy wins the award for shortest strides of the day. Still good times, but we got to spread him out a little bit. And here's why he's so good, because his foot strike is pretty close to underneath, and his foot gets off the ground really fast. You can see he is at toe-off position, and his knee is right underneath his glute, which means if we can get a little more power off the ground, Jimmy's going to run really fast. But you can see how short his strides are. Good news, Jimmy, that's really easy to fix. If I can get this to go the right way here, thank you very much. And let's see what I got from the front. Here's Anthony from the front. Let me pull up a picture on the side here. Wrong one. This is ideally what we want to look like from the side or from the front. You can see the toe off position legs straight up and down on the side with these gentlemen here. Of course, they're number 1 and 2 in the world. And Anthony is pretty good. Anthony's doing some really nice things here. You can see him drive through his big toe. And he's pretty straight up and down on the sides. What would be better is if this hip were a tiny bit higher. And so when that knee comes through, see how high Bolt's and DeGrasse's knees are up on the side when they come through? Anthony could use a little more hip strength, and his right foot needs to come off more to his big toe. You can see he comes right off over the top, which is good, but not excellent. He loses power. Where his left leg is his business side, you can see it's slightly turned out, and he drives through his big toe, and he doesn't look too different from this picture here and there as far as toe off position. You can see that one right there. You can see how he pushes off the side of his foot on his right. Right there. Missing his big toe on that one, but still pretty good. Here's Cullen. He's got quite a crossover gait, and he's quite rotated around quite a bit. But that allows him to drive through to his big toe, and they become springs. Now, if we can, ooh, that's really bad right there. That's about as bad as I've seen. So Cullen has some major ankle issues here. He learns to use his feet as springs, but his foot placement is horrible. So Cullen is some hip strength away from being really fast. Ooh, I'm using that in my presentations. That's so bad. Good to know. Glad I filmed. Here comes Jimmy. Jimmy should be pretty good. He's decent. Ideally, that foot's a little bit more out to the side, but I can live off this. But he's coming off the side of his foot on that foot, and the side of his foot, and that's why he gets this tail hook where this leg comes back behind, and that creates some rotation through here, which actually slows him down. So, gentlemen, I'll get more film as we go on and continue to do this. Thanks.